afternoon, freaks. I'm here to give Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, because of the astrology and what we got going on with Big Daddy time right now. Or loaded sixth house, a stellium, three or more planets in that sixth house, or one of the significant placements in that sixth house. Like I just mentioned, even if it's in another sign, a read straight from the hip with lots of lip, and we're going to be looking at how the Venus Jupiter conjunction will be affecting you all throughout this month of March and beyond. Okay, what's happening right now is really lining up the collective with a date with destiny. All right, and that destiny point really takes off with the changing of the nodes. From we have the North Node of Taurus go into Aries, the initiator, and with the South Node of Scorpio sliding on back to Libra, all right, where we finally find out, did we do our karmic work? Did we close the karmic cycle so we can step into our destiny and what wants to be initiated into our lives now? I did get an initial download for you, Virgos, and I really got it. You are calling your fire back to you. You cannot exist any longer without having, your passion, your purpose running on all cylinders. It's just the way it is. You have so much firing off in your consciousness, so much that is finally making you like feel like you're getting back into your own element, like you got your mojo working again. You're finally doing things that really inspire you, that light you up. And this has to do with people you're drawn to and experiences that you're having. For some of you, it's the work you're doing. It's something that has some creative slant, or it's really just like lighting you up. It may be something that kind of like pays it forward. Some of you may be, really getting behind a cause, really championing a clause, championing a cause. Ted says yes on that. That's interesting. Oh, that's an interesting message. It's got kind of like a get out of jail free card kind of energy. Like maybe you're championing. Why am I having such a hard time saying that? Championing. Maybe you're championing a like a loophole, like you're feeling like you want to do something kind of unexpected. Maybe that's actually kind of like stoking your fire in sort of a delicious way. Like maybe you do want to do something that people never anticipated you doing. It's almost like, one thing that's really coming up with this particular Venus Jupiter conjunction, which we already had one on the 2nd. We're going to have another one coming up on the 22nd and then on the 28th. And we're really ending out March with a bang with the start of the spring season with vernal equinox coming in on the 20th, 21st. We have that initiation point of the new cycle with the Aries energy coming in. Okay, it's like the start of the year, the new year. We go round the wheel once again. Okay, big wheel keeps on turning. Definitely has that vibe. I'm even picking up that Journey song. There might be a message there. It's about getting things moving. It's about going forward toward the destiny where we're really feeling called and pulled to go. And with the Aries season kicking off with that new moon on the 21st, it's going to be like the thing that just like ignites it all, finally gets it moving forward, and I feel like you got some big energy you're bringing forward with that new moon. I think you're building something right now. You might even be launching something right around that new moon, spring equinox time. It would be a really good time to do it, especially if you're like rebranding yourself, or there's something you're repackaging in a new way, or you revamped some kind of presentation or offering you have, or if you're like releasing some kind of artistic project like an album, anything along these lines. It's a great time for popping off with that. Okay, because we also have on the 23rd, Pluto is going into Aquarius. So that's all about the things you've worked on, the stuff that you've poured your energy into, invested, put the time in, put the time in. It's time to really like let that stuff be seen in a big way, especially if it's anything that's kind of like counterculture, anything that shakes up consciousness, anything online, anything that has a really broad reach, where there's a lot of possibility for expansion, anything on the World Wide Web. Um, Also, anything connected with travel, and rebellion, let's call it in, rebelling against maybe a work or a path you've been on for too long that is cramping your style, man. You're ready to shake that off. A lot of you will be revamping your image, and it has everything to do with getting in touch with what really like what gets you lit, what gets you ignited, what gets you excited, what gets you feeling really enthusiastic, what gets the passion stirring. For some of you, it's like you're really needing, and this is an adult channel, okay? So if you're under 18, it's time for you to leave the room, all right? But for some of you, this is really about you're really needing sensual gratification. I feel like you haven't had the kind of sensual gratification that you've wanted for a while, and it's time to change that up. It's time to change that up. You might even want to explore that for yourself, just explore indulging in your own sensuality. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Of course, the go-to kind of like the first place that people's minds jump is, self-pleasuring. Okay. And you absolutely can go that route. That is one route. Um, okay, let's look at that. Like if you ever went that route before, I'm sure you didn't bring in like a lot of care and time and attention to it to really make it almost like a ritual. You know what I'm saying? Like really indulging in that, putting on some music to set the tone, dimming down the lights, lighting some candles, having some beautiful scents wafting around you, maybe having something luxurious that you're wearing, really just enjoying the experience of allowing yourself to receive pleasure, even if you're the one giving yourself that pleasure, right? Some of you actually, I just got this came in. It's an interesting piece. Some of you may actually be in a period of celibacy or refraining from going there because you don't want just sort of like surface hookup energy anymore. You're actually wanting to dive a lot deeper into your sensuality. Some of you are wanting to explore things like Tantra, the Kama Sutra, open up to the sensual mysteries. This is something that's being really activated for you. Some of you are even wanting to explore more like left hand path Tantra, where it is about the gratification and the sexual expression. It's really interesting. But I feel like it's all directly connected to like your sense of creativity and your sense of purpose and passion and fire. It's like this is something that needs to be fulfilled for you in order for you to feel like you're kind of really in your element and you're able to bring your full self forward. I think there feels like there's like a little piece where maybe you've been through some experiences recently that kind of give you a little knock to your confidence, or it might be you haven't been feeling so desirable if you've been single for a long time, or maybe you just kind of feel like you're stuck in some kind of role that just feels monotonous and it's keeping you from more of your true nature. Virgos are very sensual creatures. They are. They're very sensual creatures for as much as they're contained, on other levels. That's the one area where they really like to indulge. There's this, um, you know, I just kind of got good girl gone bad. I feel like some of you who really kind of maybe you play that role, you're the good girl or you're the good boy, you toe the line. Um, you might want to like shake up that image. That's what's coming through. You might have like a little bit of this kind of like daring kind of ignited in you, a little bit of the rebel, where you're kind of like, oh yeah, well, let me show you another side of myself. You might want to try on the bad boy or bad girl image for a bit and see how that fits. I think you're doing a lot of exploration right now. That's what I feel, a lot of exploration. A lot of exploration. Yes, and there's a piece about it that feels like it's connected to the mysteries. I feel also like there's this piece that it's not just like superficial. It's not like, oh, I just want to belong to the streets. I want to get out there and get my hoe on. Like, it's not about that. It's like so much deeper than that. It's wanting that level of intimacy where, maybe you feel like you haven't really been able to experience like that kind of like, connection on the level that you're really wanting to. But maybe there's somebody who does kind of like ignite that fire in you. And maybe you feel a bit like you're a moth to a flame. You're sort of like, you're drawn to this influence. You're drawn to go to that level. There's something that's inspired you. There's something that's cracked you open on that level. And I feel like as you start to hone in on that more, it also opens up your creativity. It's like there's this interrelation between the two. Something about this ignites your creativity. And I feel like you're about to step into like a lot of new beginnings. I feel like it's really coming in for you. But it all begins with you first, like claiming that fire. Some of you are really wanting to enter in relationship in a different way. You want the stability, you want the grounding, you want somebody you can count on and somebody you can build with, somebody that you can really grow, a stable home life with. And you want all those kind of traditional things, but then there's the other piece where it's like, yeah, but I want dark deliciousness in the bedroom. I want to explore. I want to feel really sexy. I want to feel desired. I want somebody who can match me. I'm like picking this up too. Like I want somebody who can match me. Like I don't know where this is coming from, but maybe some of you have gotten some kind of shame for your sexual desires. Maybe somebody kind of cast some judgment on you because maybe you have a big sexual appetite and maybe you're kind of out of sync with your person. Maybe they don't have as much desire to connect on that level. Everybody, connects in different ways. Everybody has different kinds of love languages. I feel like your love language is it's very like hands on, it's like you need that physical contact, you need that touch, and you need it to be deep and meaningful. Some of you, out of your frustration from not being met on that level, may have been exploring like your passions more fervently. Maybe you started to kind of like pull back from your relationships a little bit, or maybe you're like, I'm just going to put the dating scene on the side for right now. And I'm just going to kind of, focus on myself and my creativity. Maybe like creativity has been helping you to kind of channel some of that energy. I feel like there's also something you're working on though. I got the feeling like you're working on something you're getting ready to launch. And you might launch it right around that new moon in Aries, or something comes in at that time that's like the ignition point. It's like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do. And you kind of hit the ground running. I feel there's a direct correlation though with the start of Aries season for you with that new moon. So really think about that right now. What would you like to see kind of come to fruition? What would you like to put out there? Whether that's like, I want to do a podcast, or I have a song I'm working on, or I have a business project I want to launch, or, make it a goal about you. That's something about really bringing forward your fire, bringing forward your visions, bringing forward what you're working with, let it be a time of kind of like igniting the fire within yourself. And I think that this is going to have sort of a momentum all its own that will dial in all those different areas of your life. It's funny. I kept trying to say championing, and I was struggling with it. It's like maybe you feel like you're struggling with that too, to rise above certain things. Maybe you feel like you get forward a little bit and then you get kind of pulled back. You sort of trip up on things, and then it sort of causes a little dent to your confidence, and then you start reasoning with yourself, compromising with yourself, start telling yourself why it's okay for it just to be like this. I can make do. And like, I think it's time to stop making do, you know? When you stop making do, then you might rile some people, because there might be some people that you have to say, you know what, I'm not into this, or I'm pulling out of this project, or I don't want to be in a relationship, or what's going down here isn't satisfying me. I'm craving something different. But I do feel it's about paying attention to that fire. It seems like it's very important for you right now. If you don't have that, if you're not feeling passionate about where you're directing your energy right now, if it doesn't feel like it's purposeful, if you find yourself sitting there often and saying, what are we doing this for? Why am I here? That's a big clue that you need some kind of reroute. And I feel that this is like the first big thing that's coming forward for you. You got a new beginning. It's got like big Ace of Wands energy. You're going to have that magician's wand in your hand come that new moon. Mark my words, something's going to happen, and it's going to ignite your fire. And once you're lit like that, there's no turning back. You're going to blaze a trail. You're not going to be able to hold it in. I feel like you've been going without the fuel for your fire for far too long. So once it comes in, and it is going to come in, you're going to have to go forward with it. For some of you, it's going to be like, boom, a spark of a vision. Like all of a sudden, you know exactly what you want to create. You know exactly how to pull it together. You even have an opportunity come your way that makes it possible for you to do it. And you're just going to be like all in. You've been waiting for this, you know? That's the thing. It's like once you have the vision, you're going to be like a dog with a bone with it. Like you're not going to let it go until you go all the way, until you do rise as that champion over all those voices inside that have lied to you, maybe your whole life telling you you'll never get there, you're not good enough, I'm never the one chosen, or, whatever it may be. We all kind of take on stuff from our environment and the unhealed people around us who were our authority figures when we were kids. We internalize that stuff, and unfortunately, it can slap a filter on our reality and what we think is possible for us. And I think you're going to have a big awakening this month. I feel like the Venus Jupiter conjunction is coming together to show you just how much is possible for you, and also to show you something new about yourself, like a kind of daring that you didn't really know that you had, a certain risk taker inside. You're like, who is this one willing to like gamble it all? Well, you got to think about it. If there's something you're willing to gamble it all for, that means it's really aligned with your heart. It's really aligned with your soul. There's something there calling you forward. Oh, bottom of the deck energy, total alignment, 4 of Wands. Look at that. Coming into total alignment, receiving your flowers, receiving your recognition, being celebrated for what you bring to the table. There's also somebody there you're celebrating with, somebody who also appreciates you. You appreciate each other. This has got like big soulmate connection. This is the 1111 card. Okay. So it is coming into alignment, but it's not something that's fleeting either. You notice that castle in the background. Okay. That always makes me think of, I don't know why. I just thought of ice cream castles, the time, ice cream castles in the summertime. Maybe this is when it all really comes in for you. It's like everything in the, like that love that you're longing for, that passionate connection, coming into union and having that depth of sensuality where everything feels like it's coming into flowering, where you feel like a hot house flower. I don't know what this is coming from, but I'm feeling it for you all. It feels like you're really coming into union with somebody that you are able to go to a real deep place with on a sensual level, on a sexual level, but there's something that's spiritual about it. It's like it's so soulful. It awakens you to higher states of consciousness. To me, this feels like for some of you, I'm bringing it in because it's coming in. For some of you, this is you truly coming into that sensual union, that sacred union within, and you're having your first Kundalini rising experience. Powerful, you know. But ice cream castles, I was initially thinking about, like, sometimes people say, this there's this saying about building castles on shifting sands, and this is maybe what position you've been in the past. Maybe you had lots of fantasies in the past, lots of kind of fleeting desires in the past that would kind of capture your attention. Maybe in the past you kind of had a lot of different options, and it was sort of like kid in the candy store kind of vibe, like, well, which one do I want to choose, maybe sometimes you didn't always make the choice that was best for you, and maybe it took you to some unhealthy places. I feel like this is like sort of a history piece coming in regard to your romantic connection. I feel like this is different. This has stability, and this has two people that really are meeting each other, recognizing each other. It's like that soul recognition, like, yes, we're in total alignment, like, and the way it comes together, it's undeniable. There's something really beautiful here. All right. 22 on the clock. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're coming into union with a soulmate. Some of you might be getting married this summer, okay? I do have to say that. So 2233. Yeah, I think that's definitely something going down for some of you, all right? To those of you that are getting married this summer, congratulations. It looks like it'll be a beautiful wedding. Some of you might even be doing like a destination wedding. Like, I can almost see like a castle in like I got like Wales, Wales, Scotland, something along these lines. Like, maybe you're feeling really drawn to go to some kind of historical site. Maybe you feel like you have like a past life connection with your fiance, and maybe there's like some location that, like, it's really significant for both of you. Maybe you're going there to tie the knot. I don't know. This just coming in. Somebody's getting married. I mean, that's coming in really strongly, right? So congratulations to whoever that applies to, right? Some of you may be doing kind of like a renewal of your commitment ceremony too, or like a hand fasting. I'm picking that up too. Like, um, it might not be like this typical type of marriage. You might not be going and tying the knot per se, but you might want to explore something like hand fasting. Hand fasting is actually a really beautiful tradition because it allows for growth and evolution within a relationship. It's not about you're bound to me by law, till the day you die. I don't know. You might be dealing with somebody who maybe one person really wants commitment like that, and the other person is more like not wanting to get locked in on that level for their own individual reasons. Everybody has their different ways that they want to come into union. So maybe this is something that's getting, kind of caught up in the mix. Maybe you've been engaged for a while. It's been hard to set a date because of this. Maybe somebody is kind of a little bit of a commitment phobe, and this is something that's coming to the surface. That's a possibility too. Hand fasting is something really cool to explore because it's a ceremony, it's a, and you can make it your own, and it's about making a commitment to journey with somebody very deeply in relationship for a 13 moon cycle. So, you revisit it 13 moons later, so you travel in union with each other for a little over a year, right? And then at the end of the year, you you drop in with each other. Do we want to renew again? And you renew it every year. I actually think it's really beautiful. I know people have done it, and I think it's a very special way to come into union because it requires a conscientiousness. It also is focused on the growth of the relationship, which I think is really cool, you know. And I feel like this element is coming into the way you're viewing your love life. You want it to be a continual growth process. And there's this important piece about sensuality and as well as spirituality. Some of you are exploring different types of spirituality, and this is also influencing your love life. Maybe you're with somebody who is very traditional, you know, in terms of their spiritual beliefs. You know, for example, like maybe you're with somebody who's a devout Catholic, okay? And you're on the other end of the scale where maybe you're starting to be a little drawn to exploring pagan paths. This might be a little bit of a conflict, and yet you can't help but explore this direction that's calling you because it's sort of it's connecting you with your fire, it's lighting you up, it's getting you turned on, it's helping you see a new perspective in life. And yeah, I don't know. That's coming in for somebody too. So very interesting messages right off the bat for Virgo Collective. All right, let's see what's coming in for the Virgo Collective with this Venus Jupiter conjunction. What experiences await Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, or loaded sixth house throughout this month of March? How is that Venus Jupiter conjunction going to be influencing the Virgo Collective? What's coming in for the Virgo Collective throughout this month of March with the Venus Jupiter conjunction? You're like, broad. You already brought in a lot for us to think about. I don't know. I mean, if that lines up, that's good for me. I hear you. I hear you. Okay. So let's just see. Come on, y'all. Let me know what you're working with. What's coming in? All right, there we go. We finally. Oh my gosh, that bird! It landed right on the tip of the incense. All right, and you know, I always pick an incense to start the reads with, and for your read, I just pull it out randomly, but I always pay attention to what incense comes out, and I pulled out the honey incense. And you know, that's all about the sweetness. And honey is also an offering to Oshun, and Oshun is the Orisha of the river, you know, the river of life and the sweet waters. Maybe some of you are daughters or sons of Oshun. You know, maybe some of you are drawn to working with the Orishas, or that's something you've been exploring. I love Yeye Oshun, so I'm not initiated onto that path, but I do feel very drawn to those energies, and I work with them quite frequently, and I just feel a real connection there. Oshun is very much a goddess of love and beauty. She also has a very idealized like view of beauty. And if you look at Haitian traditions, you know, she is sometimes is personified. It's sort of a shared energy. She's personified as Urzuli Freda, and you'll see images of Urzuli Freda depicted as having all these men offering like, oh, here's perfume and here's chocolates and here's gold and here's jewels and here's champagne. And she's like usually like kind of turning her head and she has tears and she's refusing. And it's because the earthly reality never measures up to that higher ideal of love that she has. And it's interesting because I feel like there's a bit of that that's kind of coming into play for you, Virgo. I feel like you've been disappointed, you know, in love. Some things haven't always lived up to your desires to the extent that you almost brace yourself for what you view as the inevitable, and sometimes that can really set you up. It's almost like you expect things to fall apart or not work out. And it's almost like you ready yourself for that, and that can have a real effect on just the flow of your relationships or even your dating opportunities. Sometimes it can maybe cause you to be a little too attached, or in some cases a little too accommodating, bending over backwards, making sure the other person's satisfied. But oh, I got sentience there, but what about you? Are you satisfied? you know um this is an important piece to acknowledge, because that can really sabotage a relationship. If you're giving and giving and giving, and nothing's coming back in, you can start to feel resentful. And so if you keep giving from that place, it can really destroy a relationship. you know I feel like you're overcoming that. I really feel that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. See, I feel like you're really holding your passions back. That's what I get, and it's becoming too much of a struggle for you. There's something you're really working through with this moon energy, and in fact, you just had your full moon, Virgo, on the 7th, okay? So you might have found that your emotions have been really activated since that full moon. I think that you're really wanting to connect with somebody. I feel this. Big Emperor energy, okay? Very much an Aries as well as Taurus significator here, okay? I think that you're really in your power, and you're ready to come together with somebody. And they don't have to be an Aries or a Taurus. They could have a significant placement like that in their chart. But I feel this is a very, like, this person, if you're a masculine, you're very much in this emperor energy when it comes to this person. Like, you know what you want. Your passions are stirred. You're not going to back down. Like, you want to seal this deal. I really feel that. Like, you're in this for the long haul, okay? And it's legit. You will stand on it. You could at times be a little controlling, maybe. You might have a bit of a jealous streak. I just say that because we have the Emperor coming in with the Five of Wands. That can be conflict. It's also passion, but paired with passion, there can also be like conflict, disagreements, arguments, competitiveness. And we have here the Eight of Wands, which is really fast movement. It's also the arrows of love. It's the passion stoked. There's a lot of passion here, all right? But what do we got after that? We got the Eight of freaking Swords. This is like, okay, look at all this fire, man. The Emperor, the Emperor with the Five of Wands and the Eight of Wands. This is like, you're just, I mean, you are really ready to get it in. I have to call it how I see it. Like, you are on fire and you need some good loving. Like, you need some sexual healing. It's all about that. It's that Marvin Gaye song, Sexual Healing, you know? Um, I think you're very, very simple as far as what you need. I think that all the other stuff is in place. I feel like this is one part of your life that isn't, like, it's just not where you want it to be. You want more passion. You want more sexual connection. Um, you want to feel lit up again. You want to feel like you're in your mojo. And there's something about wanting somebody who really desires you. I feel like almost like you've been dealing with a little cold fish kind of energy, or sort of not feeling like, maybe you don't feel like you're desired by the object of your affection. And this might have you feeling really like just stuck and self-contained. And when you're holding in all that fire, and it's just sort of like, rumbling beneath the surface, that creates a lot of pressure, trying to contain that kind of energy. That's an energy that really just wants to it wants to be released, right? I really think it would help if you got to get your energy moving, man. You really need to get your energy moving while you figure out this situation and how you move forward. Because I do see you're confused, right? With the moon here, there's something deep that you're grappling with, and you're holding yourself back from moving forward toward what does ignite your fire. I believe you already know what ignites your fire. I mean, the Emperor is a pretty clear indication, you know? If you're a masculine, like you're 100% like, you know exactly who you want, you know what you want, but you're grappling with this for some reason. There's some aspect of it that has you in a place of confusion and not knowing how to move forward or feeling like things are at a gridlock. There might be something that needs to be healed that's coming up here. I don't know why it's coming in so strongly, but I do got big like mama vibes coming in. It might have something to do with a baby's mama. For those of you who've been married before or had a relationship where, there's children connected to that past relationship. So maybe there's something with that relationship that's holding things up from you moving forward toward a new connection, one that really, kind of has captured your attention and is waking something up inside of you. I feel like it's lit a fire inside of you. For others of you, you've been through some kind of experience where, in some way, shape, or form, you always felt like you weren't the one who was chosen, or you've been put on the back burner, or maybe the person you were with before just didn't really want to connect with you on a sexual level. Like you guys were out of sync on that level for some reason. And maybe this affected your confidence in some kind of way where you feel like if I go towards this, if I reach towards this, I'm going to be rejected. You might need to do some healing around your confidence. I feel like you need to get your energy moving. You need to let that trapped fire out, and exercise is a great way to do that. I also suggest, maybe getting out and about too. Maybe you've been kind of like trying to get over something as well. You might be trying to get over a relationship. You might have gone through a really difficult period and you've been kind of keeping to yourself, and you've sort of been just staying at home alone or been on your own a lot. If that's the case, I think you need to get out and about, go on some little road trips, go check out some areas local to you that you've never been to, hang out, get to know people, have some lively banter, enjoy yourself, have some fun. I could see this also being like lively banter online, like getting to know people online, having some fun interaction. I also feel like some of you have your eyes set on somebody where it creates some kind of conflict. Now, that conflict could be internalized. It could be like the conflict is that there's a lot of competitiveness. Maybe a lot of other people also want this person, or it pits you against somebody, and this causes a problem. It could be that there's some kind of arguments or disruption, getting stirred up around the person that you are with. It could be their family has some issue or your family has some issue. Something has been stirred up. It's causing some kind of issue that's causing tempers to flare a bit. Maybe you feel also like maybe your person is, kind of entertaining other people in an inappropriate way, or you notice that people are kind of like checking out your person. It's making you feel a little insecure. Some kind of dynamic like this, okay? I do feel like confidence is directly intertwined with it. It has you in your head a lot, and you feel confused. You feel confused. I also feel like a part of this is like what's tradition, and sort of like what's kind of been put on you as far as, when you grew up, you were just kind of told, well, this is what you do. You get married, you have kids, you get the house with white picket fence, And there may be something inside of you that's really wanting to rebel against the traditional, and you're wanting to like do something rogue, you know? You're wanting to do something unexpected, or perhaps somebody you're involved with is, choosing to, break free of what they're starting to view as confining, and this is disillusioning for you. But I feel like there's this piece about you're needing your fire lit. So even if you're dealing with a situation where you have a partner who's kind of like rebelling against the relationship, like maybe all of a sudden they're not so sure if they want to be in a commitment, or they're starting to create like questions to come up for you as far as the solidity of your relationship. I feel like that's coming up to mirror something to you about like a fire you need to ignite within yourself. I really feel this. Some of you, okay, and this is, I'm breaking free from that story for a minute because this is coming in. Some of you are about to strike out into a really competitive field with your career. It's highly competitive. I think you'll have a lot of travel and correspondence involved with this particular line of work. I feel like you also, you may need to relocate for this job as well. This might be causing you some confusion. I feel like you're going to get like, because there was that championing piece, And so I feel like you might be in the running for a really solid opportunity. This thing, if you take it, it'll be the making of you. But there's like something about it where you have to, if you want this thing, you're going to have to go for it. And it might require you to relocate. And you might feel very confused about that because you might feel like you're sort of bound to stay where you're at right now because of prior commitments. Okay. This is something you need to sort out. And if, what I have to say is if you do have prior commitments to where you're at, it might be about looking outside the box, working with the energy to think more expansively, like, okay, well, maybe that means having an unconventional relationship, you know? Maybe that means, yeah, we're committed, but, I might spend some time on the West Coast and spend the rest of the time, here with you on the East Coast, or vice versa. Maybe your partner is needing a little bit more freedom. There's something you're grappling with, though, and it's related to an opportunity to move forward in a really dynamic way. All right. Bottom of the deck energy. This has to do with some romantic offer coming towards you, or one you're wanting to make. Knight of Cups, water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Strongly aspected in the chart. I think you're exploring your options and you really know that you got to make the right choice. I think you're about to be presented a lot of different opportunities. And yes, this even applies in love. And yes, it even applies in love, even if you're in a committed relationship, okay? Because we see the snake kind of slithering out of the cup. That reminds me of temptation. There's a lot of opportunities that are going to be coming towards you in both business and love. They're going to require wise choices on your behalf, and for you to really consider what you're wanting to cultivate in your life. It's like, yes, you can get stirred by passions, and that's all very exciting. And if you allow yourself to be just totally led by your passion, you could do something that you live to regret. But if you spend a little time really getting in touch with what you need at this time to feel like you're in your own element and you're back in a place where you feel confident, you feel inspired, you feel excited, you feel engaged with it. And it's also fuel for your fire, even as you're fueling others. There's this, beautiful give and take, and that applies to any situation. But I got strong love vibes for you, all right? I see that you'll be able to find the balance. And I say that because we got the 10 of Cups here. All right. This is happiness. This is celebration. And again, pair that with that 4 of Wands. It very well can be marriage as well for those who aren't married, and it might be taking kind of an unconventional route. Or maybe that's what some arguments are about for those of you who are getting married. Maybe there are, other family members are helping to foot the bill and they think they should have a say about the kind of wedding you should have. Maybe you want to do a destination wedding. They're not happy about that because they can't afford to go there and have that experience with you. This is about you doing what's right for you. It's about doing what lights your fire. Okay. So don't let yourself get swayed by what other people think you should do. Okay. So important. But I think you're also going to have business opportunities, okay? And then there's also the piece about some cups. It's like, yeah, they may tempt you, but make sure that in choosing those cups, it's not off with your head. That you don't get carried away by ego, and it becomes this thing of like, well, I just want to have my cake and eat it too. You can go out of balance with this energy. There is a smoke and mirrors quality to that Seven of Cups. It can be about illusion. And we have to pay attention to this because you also have the moon. And the moon can also be about illusions, right? So take your time in making your choices. Temper your passions just enough, okay? I want you to light your fire, want you to go for it. It's obvious that you got a soulmate on board here, okay? With the Six of Cups. This is somebody that you feel a past connection with. And when I say a past connection with, I mean, this is somebody that like you have a soul connection with. You may feel like I've known this person my whole life, even if you just met them a year ago. They could feel like that kind of a kismet soul connection. There's definitely love on the board here, and there is union, and it is solid and it is real. Okay. And I see there's an emperor here who is very invested, fully ready to make the commitment. But there's this piece about the passions need to be brought up to par. There's this piece about your fire needs some fuel too. And I feel like, there's an offer that is coming forward. We got two pieces here about offers coming forward, invitations and a movement forward. Page of Cups to Knight of Cups. There could even be a child in the mix here. This could be for some people. It could be finding out that, you're pregnant. You're going to have a baby. Okay. Maybe that's why you decide to get hitched. Maybe you were planning on getting married later. You push the wedding up, a little bit so you can, have your family together before the baby comes. This is a piece too for somebody. That's not for everybody, but I do see that there is this desire to move forward, express the passions, express the emotions, connect intimately, deeply. And I see that there is a lot of choices to make in this regard. And that there's confusion and a need to kind of get some space, okay? Get some space with the Two of Swords. I feel like you need to get in your own energy because just seeing this Five of Wands, it's like there's a lot of different people's opinions kind of pulling at you too, all right? And this is part of what's keeping you at war within yourself, where it's hard to find some clarity in this situation. But I think it really looks like an old cycle needs to end. Something needs to be brought to a close with the Ten of Swords if you want to see further growth in this area with the Seven of Pentacles. And what needs to happen? What needs to end? Well, there's some offer that's coming forward here that you need to turn down, okay? Because it's not good enough, right? It's not the celebration that you have wanted, all right? And that's because Spirit is trying to offer you something else. Spirit's over here saying, hey, that new beginning in love, that passion, that soulful connection? I know what you want. I got it right here for you. Will you stop looking at this shit that didn't turn out the way you wanted it to? Because you're holding up the show. Because look, Emperor, what comes next? You got the Empress, right? Beautiful. Emperor, Empress. Okay. So I'm just going to call out these energies here. We do have water sign energy on the board, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. These could be any strong placements, all right? So don't get too hung up on that. And then for Emperor and Empress, this really could be anybody. These are archetypes, but they're archetypes associated with Aries and Taurus, as well as Taurus double significator, okay, here for the Empress, Taurus and Libra there, okay? So these are characters that might be factoring into your situation. Let's see the top of the deck energy here. Yeah, you're gotta walk away from something, okay, to move towards what you want, to move towards what you truly desire. You're leaving something behind because your heart is calling you in the direction of your true fulfillment. Let's see what comes up next. Yeah, it's interesting because some of you may already be in some kind of committed relationship. Some of you may already be married. Some of you may already be in a live-in situation. Ten of Pentacles is usually a case where there's some kind of commitment involved. In the case where this is referring to business, and I absolutely could see how this scenario could apply to business as well. And I feel like, the Emperor is speaking of that Aries energy, the initiation of like your goal, your vision, the business you want to build, the direction you're heading in, and really stepping into the authority of that. Like, yes, I'm going to see this through. I'm bringing this thing into being. And then I feel it's really speaking of that North node of destiny moving into Aries with the Emperor card here, and that South node moving into Libra, which is the Empress here. And I feel it's speaking of a timing for when you're really going to have the launch of this business endeavor. All right. But in order for you to head in this direction, it might mean you have to make kind of a rogue move, and you might have to cut ties from a business that you already have a contract with, or you've already been working for this company for a long time, but you're not satisfied here. It's not footing the bill. You might have to do something a little, maybe you're kind of exploring another option on the sly, or maybe you're working steadily on developing your own thing, without kind of letting the place where you're currently employed know what's going on there. Um, there's something that needs to be released either way. And for some of you, this is like you're being tempted in another direction, but you're already in a committed relationship. You're already married, or you're already in a live-in relationship. And somebody here, you got to pick what side you're on, is being tempted to go in a different direction. This is causing some kind of instability. It's causing some kind of arguments. It's causing disruption within the connection. But even if it's your person that is like the spark of this, if your person is being distant, or you feel like maybe they're entertaining other people, or they're talking to other people online, or things like this, or maybe something like this has come to light, even if that's the case, I feel like it's ignited something in you. It's sort of like, okay, that's shitty. And it's also awakened me to a reality about how I'm not satisfied here. And because of that recognition, there's this desire to reclaim the fire. There's this desire to reclaim the self-esteem, the sense of self-worth. And I think in that regard, you already have your sights on a direction you want to head in. There does seem like there's a little something here happening that's like kind of, it's a little shadowy. Okay, I got to be real. It's a little shadowy with the Five of Swords. If it was found out, it would be considered a betrayal. Okay, so this is something to keep in mind. I think this is why you need to be in that Two of Swords energy, where you got to kind of like pull your energy back a bit. Okay, get a little space, get a little perspective. Maybe spend some time in nature, just kind of clearing your head, where you can be away from the influence of everybody and just drop into your own inner space and feel things out. Really think this one out, okay? I understand. It looks like you're about to pop off. That's what I feel. You got a lot of like internalized built up fire, and it's wanting release, all right? But I think I have to say it. Even if you go rogue, or your person that you're with now, if you're in a committed relationship, goes rogue, I see it working out for you. All right. So if you find yourself in that situation where the person you're with, like all of a sudden, like bails out on you, or gets commitment shy last minute, or something like that, or you find out that they're like, talking to other people or whatever, or if you're in that space, this is one of those cases where it leads you to success. Like either way, you can't lose. And how could you? You got the Emperor and the Empress coming together. So you got to look at it this way. Whatever move you're going to make, when you get around that new moon on the 21st, whatever decision you arrive at about how you're going to head forward here, it's in alignment with your truth and it's in alignment with your path and the direction you're meant to head in. So even though it might cause disruption, I see that. It might cause arguments. People might not agree with what you do. It don't matter. Whether in love, business, for many of you, it's both. It's going to lead to your success. This is something for you to celebrate, and it lines you up with the person, the position, the job, the place, all of it. It lines you up with where you're meant to be. This is meant for you, and you will move forward with passion and purpose with that Knight of Wands energy. This is fire sign energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, okay? And it can be a bit of a player energy. It's a very like, let's have fun, right? But we do see the energy does graduate to Emperor and Empress. So, ooh, look at this. We got air sign energy here too. This is very decisive. Moving forward, knowing exactly where you're going, what you want. It also can be like a declaration of feelings, a declaration of love, and paired with that Knight of Wands, it's passionate. This might be somebody who has air and fire intermingled in their chart, okay? You might have air and fire intermingled in your chart, and it's the start of something, all right? With the Page of Pentacles here. I feel like it's going to start out very small, I feel like it starts more as kind of a friendship thing, like, okay, let's open up this discussion. Let's start kind of like dropping in together. And that applies on all levels, okay? For love or business, there's some kind of opening, some kind of opportunity. It's just at the beginning stages. It's going to take time for it to grow. But there's something that you have to let go of. You need to have the strength to let go of something in order to accept this, okay? Because you're still looking back at what was supposed to be a celebration, but turned out to be a disappointment, all right? With the Five of Cups. But your Two of Cups, your alignment is not in the past. You got to look forward, okay? It's there waiting for you. And you're going to have the strength to overcome this. You may be dealing with a Leo, okay? Because we got Leo right here. There might be somebody that has Leo strongly aspected in their chart. There might be somebody that you need to kind of like appease in this situation. Maybe this person's being difficult. They might be part of the source of the drama that's occurring in your situation. What I would say is that any drama they're causing is because they're feeling hurt. There's a sense of hurt here. So you might need to be kind of like just gentle with this person. Try to stay in a place of compassion, even though they might kind of be pushing your buttons a bit, riling you up. I also feel like this is about you overcoming your fears, overcoming the disappointments and the heartache of the past and having courage, to see this through, to go after where your heart is leading you now, not to abandon it, not to abandon yourself. And with strength here, it shows you have the success to overcome. Strength, strength with the Six of Wands. You're good. You're golden, all right? You're going to come out ahead here. No worries about that. Cut of the deck energy. Yeah, look at this. King of Pentacles sitting pretty with your finances. This is your energy. This is you manifesting the way you want to go forward. It's earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And then we also have Temperance here. So this is you finding the balance. And what is it the balance of? It's the balance of the fire, the water, the earth, the water. Okay, so it's about, tempering your passions, taking some time to get grounded, really drop into your feelings, drop into what is true for you. Look at what's on the other side. I love it. We got Queen of Wands. There's your fire forward. You also might have fire strongly aspected in your chart. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. This is your mojo's back. You know what you're working with. With that Knight of Wands coming your way, somebody's going to light your fire for sure. And I do feel a sense of celebration here. There's some kind of healing. There's some kind of celebration. And this is your karmic balance. All right. This is your justice and it's in your favor. I will say though, it requires you to move away from something. In order to receive this, there's something you need to shut the door on. And I